go ahead and get nice and comfortable on your mat. Close your eyes once you are there. And let's start by taking a few breaths together. So start by exhaling all the stale air out of the lungs, through the nose or mouth. And take a nice deep inhale, breathe into the belly. And open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Inhale, breathe into the belly. Open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Inhale, breathe into the belly. Open mouth, exhale, let it all go. Move you just a little bit if you don't mind. Turn you a little bit, yeah. Just turn your shoulders, or move your shoulders a little closer to the wall. There we go. All right, I'm sliding my candle out of the way. All right, and so here you are on your back. Just for a moment before we start moving our limbs, just check in with your neck. And one way that I like to do that is to just for a moment before you start to move, notice the mat beneath your head. So where the back of your head is connected with the earth. And then just start to gently roll your neck to the right, to the left, rolling the back of your head on the earth. And just notice the sensation there. One of the many skills that we can cultivate in a mindfulness practice is the ability to notice tiny things, the ability to notice seemingly mundane, slow, small changes, small sensations in our body. And when we can pay attention to that and truly be present for every moment of our life, then we can expand that ability, that awareness to other areas of our life, to our relationships, to our habits. But it is a good practice to begin with the basics. And so sometimes the basics is just paying attention to the connection between the back of your head and the mat. All right, now bring your head back to center. And then just for a moment, press the back of your head into the earth. Lift the shoulders up and slide them down and away from the ears. Even just that small movement there of lengthening and elongating the back of the neck can have a pretty profound impact on your overall relaxation here on your back. And then let's just start to continue this chain reaction of mindfulness down the body. And so as you've now just slid your shoulders down and away from the ears, arrange your elbows and your wrists into the most comfortable position you possibly can. And then bring your awareness down to your mid back and maybe press the mid back into the earth, and then the low back, press the low back into the earth. Maybe walk the tailbone down so you could walk your hips down and find the length down the spine. And now relax the knees, relax the calf muscles, maybe point and flex the toes, roll out the ankles. Nice. So even before you begin moving, what does it feel like? What does it look like to recline on your mat mindfully? All right, now go ahead and reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front, take a deep breath and a full body stretch, find length. Then on the exhale, hug both knees to the chest, rounding the spine, and just start to maybe roll up and down the length of the spine, up to the neck, down to the tailbone, up to the neck, down to the tailbone. And we are going to roll right up to a seated position. And so don't roll over your ankles. Don't skip the seated position today. So come right up to, for me, I'm doing cross-legged. If cross-legged is uncomfortable for you, then you can extend your legs straight. Here, I'm gonna move to speaker view just so you can see me. Great. All right, so you could have your legs straight. You could be in cross-legged position. You could even be in a reclined butterfly. You could also, if you have a block, you could sit on the block and elevate your hips a little bit. That can be a little bit less intense on the hip flexors. And so we're going to do a little bit of a flow, a lot of time in the seated position today. So get nice and comfortable is what I'm saying. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Move at the pace of your breath. See if you can slow it down. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. There's no rush. Even if you want to close your eyes, that might be really nice for these next few breaths. Inhale, arms overhead. Reach wide, reach tall. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. See just how slowly you can move while also moving at the pace of your breath and continuing to move. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And now on the next inhale, one more time, reach the arms overhead. And this time on the exhale, we're going to take a little cactus back bend. So bend the elbows alongside the body, open the chest toward the sky, gaze goes up, tilt the chin up. Inhale, bring the arms back overhead, bring the spine back to alignment. Exhale for the cactus back bend. Pull the elbows alongside the body. Inhale as you bring it back to center, back into alignment. We're going to do 3 more. Exhale into that little gentle back bend. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, arms overhead. Reach, bring it back to center. Exhale, cactus back bend. Gaze goes up. Pull the elbows down and alongside the body. Inhale back to center. And this is the 3rd one on the exhale into the cactus back bend. Inhale back to center. This time on the exhale, hinge forward and walk the hands forward on the mat or the floor. Relax the chin, relax the neck, relax the forehead toward the earth. See if you can breathe into every space down the length of the spine. Find openness all the way up from the tailbone, through the low back, mid back, upper back, the neck, the back of the skull. And walk it back up to seated. And then go ahead and switch legs. If you've got your legs crossed, just switch to the other side. We're going to explore a little bit of twisting here. So place your hands on your knees, palms face down. And then I'm just going to have you switch arms, all right? And so rather than having you do exactly the same side as me, I'm going to do the same side as Dusty though. Rather than having you do exactly the same side as me, I'm just going to give you instructions based on your own body. So if you look at your hands, one of your arms is closer to your body and one of your arms is further away from the body. And so I want you to identify whichever arm is closer to your body here, right? The elbow that's closest to the chest. And then I want you to pick it up, reach behind you as you inhale, draw a big circle, sweep the fingertips toward the sky. And then as you exhale, close it down back onto the knee. And so the idea here, think about swimming, like you're in a swimming pool and you're taking a big circular stroke with the shoulder. That's the idea here. So reach behind you, reach tall, big, expansive inhale, and then exhale as you close it down. And so the idea here is that you're finding a little bit of warmth in the shoulders and also starting to open up the upper back here, but gently. Inhale as you reach behind you up toward the sky. Exhale as you close it down, and just kind of explore what this range of motion feels like, because there's a lot of opening, a lot of expanding that you can explore here between the ribs, the upper back, the shoulder blades. And so take it at your own pace, moving mindfully. I like to slow it down on Wednesdays because the ability to slow things down and pay attention to the little things as they come up is every bit as much of a skill as building strength, building speed, building balance, and some of those technical skills that we work on Fridays. You got to do both. Take it through 3 or 4 more full rounds of breath on your own time, on your own pace. All right, now come back to neutral and then uncross the arms. Bring the hands back to their regular side, just lightly resting on the knees. And we're going to take some seated cat-cows now. So usually we do cat-cow in tabletop position, but we don't necessarily need to. Cat-cow is just exploring forward, backward flexion of the spine. And so I want you to think about what would it feel like to round the spine in this seated position, caving in, tucking the chin to the chest, finding that stretch between the shoulder blades. And now inhale as you draw the sternum forward, roll the shoulders back, maybe even tip your chin up toward the sky, gaze goes up. Exhale to round the spine. So follow your own breath, exhaling to hollow it out, tucking the forehead toward the tailbone. Inhale for the back bend. Gaze goes up. Exhale to round. And take it away at your own time, on your own pace. And while we're at it, while we're here, while we're moving with breath and exploring range of motion here in the spine, maybe also explore some side to side movement. I like to think of this as though my rib cage is moving independently of my pelvis, right? And I'm just finding big circles here, perhaps, or maybe some twists. There's so many shapes, so many subtle differences in posture that you can take here in this seated position, some of which might feel a little creaky to you. And if it's a good kind of creaky, then maybe you hang out there for a few breaths and you explore that. And if it's a bad kind of creaky, then honor your limits, right? Listen to that, listen to your body, and only take any poses, any movements, any depths that feel life-giving to you today. All right, come on back to seated, and if you would locate your strap, you're going to locate your strap, and we're going to start to, from a seated position, actually switch legs again. So we're going to periodically switch legs from right to left just so that our legs don't fall asleep, and also to just kind of continue to build some balance between right and left. So you've got your strap in your hands. Go ahead and put a bunch of space between your two hands. I've got my hands much wider than my shoulders. Keep the elbows straight and just go ahead and reach up toward the sky as you bring the strap up and over and then behind your back here. You can scoot forward. What? Oh, gotcha. That's a good idea. We're navigating here. And as you inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, drop the hands behind you. So move with your breath. Moving with your breath also allows you to slow down the movement, right? Because it can be tempting to just fling your arms through this range of motion here. But again, we're getting really granular, really slow, very mindful today. All right, now we're going to introduce a very slight difference to this here. But before we do, I encourage you to maybe explore what would it look like to move your hands towards each other, even just a hand width, right? So we're not moving a lot. We're not creating a really drastic difference. But when we shorten the distance between our hands, we increase a little bit of the stretch that occurs across the fronts of the shoulders here. So explore what that feels like for you. And then what I want you to do next is, rather than moving both arms at the same pace, we're going to do one and then the other. And so lead with one hand as you bring one arm around behind you and then finish the circle with the other hand. So get 3 or 4 all the way around the world here. Should feel a really nice dynamic mobilization in the upper back. And then after you've done a few of those, switch directions. So go the opposite direction of where you were going. Nice. All right, go ahead and set the strap off to the side here. Bring the legs around behind you and come into tabletop. All right, so since we've already done a fair amount of upper back mobilization here, let's just kind of explore and see how our upper back is feeling here in tabletop. And so look down at your hands, spread your fingers nice and wide, elbows are straight, shoulders are stacked over the wrists. And now I want you to create just a subtle movement here with your shoulder blades together. Or I want you to squeeze the shoulder blades together and sink your chest toward the earth here. Right, and so we're really active in the upper back. And now reverse this movement and lift the back of the rib cage toward the sky, so that space between the shoulder blades. And so the shoulders are really active, and not that they're out of their sockets, but they're really pressing and you're finding as much length as possible. And so now keep going back and forth between those two extremes there. So as you squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then also as you lift the rib cage, you'll notice that even though it is a subtle movement, you can actually find a fair amount of range of motion from top to bottom. You can do a lot with your shoulders. It is a fairly versatile joint, and it's worth maintaining range of motion throughout the course of your life by doing all sorts of things like hanging. If you have access to hanging from whether it's a pull-up bar or a ledge or something like that in your house, if you have an opportunity to spend a few minutes hanging, that's a great way to stretch out your shoulders too. All right, so curl the toes under, shift some body weight back onto the balls of the feet. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog, and just start by pedaling the feet right, left, press one heel, then the other into the earth. All right, let's flow back and forth from downward facing dog to plank. Inhale, bring it forward to plank, shoulders over wrists, and maybe explore that active upper back that we were talking about before. So lift that space between the shoulder blades toward the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Downward facing dog on the exhale. All right, now go ahead and lower the knees to the earth. Bring the big toes to touch. Settle it back to child's pose. And as you reach the arms forward, settle the forehead down onto the mat. And breathe. Okay, so since we were talking about the shoulders a few moments ago, I'm going to give you a nice stretch that you can do in child's pose for your shoulders, for your upper back here. So in child's pose, with your forehead on the mat, I want you to think about walking your elbows toward one another. And one way that that makes this a little bit easier, maybe feel a little bit better, is if you take prayer hands, and so press the palms together. All right, so as you walk the elbows toward one another, that alone will probably create a little bit of a rotation in the upper back. And you can, if you're on a sticky mat, then that can kind of help maintain that friction of externally rotating the shoulders. And now, if that's comfortable for you and you want to maybe try taking it a little bit deeper with your forehead on the mat, try bending the elbows and bringing the palms behind the back of the head, and you should feel a really nice stretch between the shoulder blades in that hard to get spot that you probably carry some tension, because that's where a lot of people carry tension, right? And so really breathe into that space and maybe explore walking your elbows further away, walking them closer in, walking them towards one another. All right, go ahead and slowly come on back out of it, back to tabletop. And bring the shoulders up over the wrists. We're going to get into our legs here. So pick up the right leg, step it forward outside the right pinky, and just start by mobilizing into that right hip joint here. Breathe into the inner thigh, left hip flexor, maybe your outer hip. Stay with some nice long, slow breaths. And then just take it right back to tabletop, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Pick up the left foot, step it outside the left pinky and draw some nice hip circles here on this side. Breathe into that right hip. All right, now step it back to tabletop. Curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. And back to the hamstrings. So pedal the feet, right, left. Press one heel, then the other into the earth. All right, we're going to start to take it through some half sun salutations from the top of the mat. So walk the feet forward to meet the hands. And then from the top of the mat, inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead, reach for the sky. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, swan dive over the legs, forward fold. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward, active in the upper back. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. So I'm going to have you do this standing, but since when I stand and I'm close to the laptop, it cuts off my shoulders, I'm going to kneel for this part. So just imagine that I'm standing. So stand up nice and straight, roll your shoulders down and back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and we're going to take a very similar arm stretch, upper shoulder stretch that we were doing in child's pose, but now we're going to do it standing. And so it's actually a lot more active because rather than using the ground to elevate your shoulders, you actually have to use the muscles in your back. So here we go. Inhale, arms overhead, seal the palms towards each other, press the elbows towards each other, lift up, find all the space you can in your shoulder blades, and now bend the elbows to bring the sealed palms behind the neck here. And as you squeeze the shoulder blades together, gaze is forward, neck is long, crown of the head nice and tall. So even as you squeeze the shoulder blades together and find lift through the elbows, find as much length as you possibly can in the upper back. Nice. Inhale, arms overhead again. And now on the exhale, interlace the hands behind the back, roll the shoulders together and back. And as you reach the hands toward the earth, find width across the front of the chest here. Nice. Release and inhale the arms overhead again. Feel the palms. Squeeze the elbows towards the sides of the head, and on the exhale, bend at the elbows. So, and as you're bending at the elbows, you've got your palms behind the neck. Squeeze the elbows toward one another. So again, we're really active in the upper back. Inhale, arms overhead again. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. And if you can't interlace the hands behind the back, because I know some of you might not quite have that flexibility in the shoulders, this is a great opportunity to grab hold of the strap behind your back. So either way, whether you're interlacing your hands or you're grabbing hold of the strap, roll the shoulders down and back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. All right, we're going to go through this sequence one more time. Release the hands, inhale, arms overhead, seal the palms, really active in the upper back. Press the elbows toward one another and then bend the elbows. So this is the last time. Find even a millimeter more openness here. So this is really active in the upper back as you find lift. Inhale, arms overhead again. And now interlace the hands behind the back. Roll the shoulders together and down. Take an inhale. And now for a little challenge, if this is comfortable for you, if you can grab hold of your hands, or if you've got the strap behind your back, take an inhale. And on the exhale, hinge forward and down over the legs. I've got some space between my feet, by the way, just to create a little bit of balance here. So you could have your legs straight, or you could have a soft knee bend. All right, now release the hands back to the low back, come up to standing, and you can set the strap off to the side. Nice. Shake out the shoulders a little bit. Okay, now we're going to take it through a couple half sun salutations. Let's move through these really slowly and mindfully. So we're connecting our breath to movement here. So from the top of the mat, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, hands to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. So we lower on the exhale all the way to the earth, uncurl the toes, inhale, baby cobra, gaze is forward, neck is long. Exhale, take it back to downward facing dog, 2 long, slow breaths. Since we've already done so much work in the shoulders and the upper back, you might notice some new sensations there, some new openness, some new feel goods there in the upper back when you're here in downward facing dog. Now glance up at the hands, walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. 2 more times all the way through a full sun salutation from the top. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for the back bend. Exhale. 2 breaths. Walk your feet forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, stand. Exhale. 1 more full sun salutation. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 full rounds of breath, no rush. Walk your feet forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. Release your hands down by your sides. Flip the palms forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And just allow your breath to flow through your body naturally. And so when you're not trying to connect your inhales to your exhales to your inhales, what's that natural quality breath that comes to you? And see if you can pull those inhales deep into your belly. All right, we're going to take it through a couple dancing warrior flows. So from the top, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. And at this point, it's up to you whether you take chaturanga and upward facing dog, or you lower all the way to the earth and you take cobra. It is your choice. And by the way, you can always skip the flow. All right, so from downward facing dog, inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Back heel stays lifted. Rise, find your balance coming into crescent lunge. Really active in the back leg and have a soft bend in the back knee. Tuck the tailbone under. 1 more inhale. Warrior 2 on the exhale. Float the back heel down. Arms are in line with shoulders. Flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior, gaze goes up. Keep that knee bend in the front knee. Inhale, back to warrior 2. circle the hands to the earth, step back to plank, take it through a flow. Two breaths in downward facing dog. Just how long can you make them? Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Crescent lunge on the inhale, find your balance. Warrior two on the exhale. Arms are in line with that stance of your feet. So if you look down, your front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. Flip the left palm up, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior gaze goes up. Feel that stretch in the right inner thigh. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. And go ahead and lower the knees to the earth, bring the big toes to touch, sink it back to child's pose. And if you liked that little extra stretch for the upper back that we did, walk your elbows toward one another, seal the palms, and maybe even bend the elbows to bring the palms behind the neck. So one of the things that my yoga teacher trainers taught me that really stuck with me is that it is not easier to move through a more basic, a more foundational, a more slow and mindful practice. In fact, sometimes it is harder, right? Because when we slow things down, when we pay attention to the minutia, when we pay attention as though for the first time to things that we've done many times, all sorts of things can come up. And maybe it's, oh my gosh, I hate this pose. Or maybe it's your to-do list. Or maybe it's trying to pick apart all the nitty-gritty details. And the closer you look, the more there is to see. And the closer you look, the more there is to see. And so I encourage you to both sometimes on your mat, but also in your life, what would it look like to approach things you do regularly and almost automatically, things that you do on autopilot? What would it look like to approach those things with a beginner's mind, with a sense of curiosity, with a sense of wonder and awe for the things that you haven't noticed for the first time in months, if not years? What would it look like to brush your teeth as though it's the first time you've ever brushed your teeth, right? And so that's something that I encourage you to maybe think about this evening or in the coming days. What would it look like to approach the things that you do all the time as though it's the first time you've ever done it? And what would you notice? And what would you learn? What would frustrate you? Okay, go ahead and press the palms back into the earth, curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. We're going to take it through one more dancing warrior flow, but this time we're going to add a little bit of spice to it. So inhale, lift the right leg, lead with the heel. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Keep that soft bend in the back knee. Front knee is over the front ankle. And now on the exhale, airplane wings. So sweep the arms back behind you. Hover the shoulders far and forward over that front knee. Inhale back to crescent lunge. Airplane wings on the exhale. Shift some of that body weight forward into that front leg. Challenge the quadricep. Inhale back to crescent lunge. Airplane wings on the exhale. Nice, that's the last time we're doing that. Inhale back to crescent lunge. Warrior two on the exhale. Okay, now we're gonna get flowy in warrior two also. So inhale, bring the arms overhead, straighten the front knee. Exhale back into warrior two. And as you glide that knee, point it in the direction that that front foot is pointing, right? And so don't let it drift inward toward the big toe. Inhale, arms overhead, straighten the front knee. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, arms overhead, straighten the front knee last time. Exhale, warrior two. Now flip the right palm up, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior, gaze goes up. Inhale, warrior two. Side angle on the exhale. So you might either bring your elbow to your knee for your first side angle, left fingertips toward the sky, or if you're feeling like you've got the space here, bring the right hand inside of the right big toe, right foot. And we're gonna stay for a full round of breath. One more inhale. And on the exhale, circle the left hand to the earth, plant the left hand beneath the left shoulder, lift the back heel, and find a rotation here, reach the left fingertips toward the sky. Right fingertips toward the sky. I'm assuming you did it right. Take an inhale, and then on the exhale, plant the left or right hand, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. And as you take it through a couple full, slow rounds of breath, just take a moment to scan the body. Notice maybe some differences between your right and left side because you did the whole sequence on the right side. Now we're going to take it through on the left. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Find your balance. Inhale, crescent lunge. Airplane wings on the exhale. Hinge it forward. Keep that front knee bent. Inhale. Move at the pace of your breath. Exhale, airplane wings. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Inhale. Slow and controlled. Exhale. Inhale, back to crescent lunge last time. Exhale into warrior two. So quick glance down at the feet. Front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot, and the arms are also parallel with that same line of your foot path. Don't flip the hand yet. Inhale, arms overhead, straighten the front knee. Exhale, back to warrior two. Inhale, arms overhead, straighten the front knee. Exhale, warrior two. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Flip the left palm up, inhale, reach forward. Reverse warrior on the exhale, gaze goes up. Feel that stretch in the right inner thigh. Inhale, back to warrior two. Side angle on the exhale. Gaze goes up. Either your left elbow is on the left knee or your left hand finds the earth. See if you can open the right shoulder up toward the sky and also rotate the side ribs, those right side ribs toward the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, circle the right hand to the earth, lift the back heel. Inhale, reach the left fingertips toward the sky. So we're revolving this side angle. Stay for a full round of breath. And on the next exhale, flip the left hand back to the earth, step it back to plank, take it through a flow, or you can skip the flow and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. This is also a great opportunity to take it back to child's pose. Not because you necessarily need to, but because child's pose is more than just a wild card pose. It's more than just a get out of jail free pose. And I know sometimes it's like, oh, child's pose, we can always take it as a resting pose. But I want you to think of it sometimes as even more than a resting pose. At this point, if you're taking that little extra stretch for the upper back, it can actually be a stretching pose. It can be a pose that allows you to access various joints, various muscles, various rotations that you can't get to in other poses. And so don't think of child's pose as just like sometimes a throwaway resting pose. Sometimes it is exactly what your body needs. Two more nice long slow breaths. All right, so from child's pose, press the palms into the earth, curl the toes under, take an inhale. On the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. And pedal the feet right, left, right, left. All right, go ahead and lower the knees to the earth. Bring the knees together and the feet together and come back to a kneeling position. And so this can be, we're going to be here for a few breaths. We're going to be here for a couple minutes, actually. And so if you find that this aggravates your ankles or your knees after you've been here for a little while, then go ahead and come on out of it. You can do this in a chair. You can do this cross-legged. We're going to get back to our shoulders and our arms here, but this is also good training for a little bit of an ankle stretch, a little bit of a quad stretch. And this kneeling pose enables you to really get great spinal alignment. So this is a pose that is worth practicing, spending some time in. All right, so find your strap if you would. And once again, we're just going to reacquaint ourselves with the strap by putting some space between our two hands, about an arm's width or longer. And as you reach the arms up and over, bring them back behind you, finding a little bit more of a rotation like we did at the beginning of our practice. Nice. Okay, now go ahead and pause with the strap up overhead. I'm gonna go, there we go. Whew. All right, so strap up and overhead. Now I want you to, again, really lift from the upper back. And so squeeze the shoulder blades together, find a really active upper back. And now what you're going to do is, as though you're punching your fingers, your fists toward the sky and the elbows are straight, you are going to rotate in this position. So I want you to slowly rotate this whole shape to your right. And because you're not using the floor or your knee as helping you into the twist, only your spine can help you into this twist. And so use the muscles in your core, use that rotational ability in your upper back to help you into this twist even a millimeter more for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back to center. Nice job. And just to neutralize, go ahead and do a couple pass-throughs here. And then go ahead and bring it back to center. Once more, find a really active upper back by punching the fist toward the sky. And now we're going to rotate to our left. So as you rotate and bring the left hand toward the wall behind you, right hand toward the wall in front of you, really fight for that rotation, even just a millimeter more. Remember to breathe. Remember, if you're shaking, that means you're getting stronger. And go ahead and bring it back to center. Nice job. And go ahead and neutralize by doing a couple more pass-throughs. Whew. I don't know about you, but I just broke a sweat doing that. Okay, so drop the strap for a moment and shake out your shoulders. We're gonna do one more kind of fun, kind of novel shoulder stretch here. You know, it's kind of fun when you have the strap. It's like, I wanna do all the things with the strap. So here's what I want you to do. Put the strap in your right hand and then make a fist, punch it straight toward the sky. All right, so you just got really active in the shoulder, the upper back here. And you're also holding on to a long tail of the strap. Now I want you to squeeze the elbow against the head. So squeeze the elbow toward the midline, and now bend at the elbow until the fist is behind the neck. And now you're gonna take your opposite arm and you're gonna reach around behind and grab hold of it here. I'm actually gonna turn around so you can, oh, I hope you can still hear me. I'll turn around this way. And so you're gonna reach around with your hand, grab hold of the tail of the strap, and can you walk your hands towards each other, and you're just using the strap to help you shorten the distance. And if you can actually touch your hands behind your back, then you can drop the strap, and that's fine, and that's cool. So remember to breathe. We're gonna be here for a few breaths. So check back in with your posture. Get really tall through the spine, tall through the crown of the head. Okay, we're gonna slowly unwind the way we came into it. And set the strap off to the side and just give your arms a little shake. And so, or to the right, to the left. So find a little like rotation in the shoulders. So what we did there is we did an external rotation in the right and internal rotation in the left. And now we're gonna reverse it and we're gonna do the other way. All right? Give your arms a little shake. How we doing? Good. Okay, so put the strap in your left hand now. We're gonna do all the same stuff we did before. Big active punch toward the sky with the left arm. Squeeze the elbow toward the midline, so toward the ear. And now staying really active in the shoulder, the upper back, bend the elbow until the hand is behind the neck. And now with your right hand, go ahead and find the tail of the strap and walk your hands toward one another. This is what's so great about this strap, because it allows you to just find where you are today rather than, oh, I can't touch my hands behind my back, so I'm never going to try that pose. No, you can introduce a strap and you can get all the great benefits of this pose without having to hurt yourself grabbing hold of your fingers behind your back. Remember to breathe. Sit up nice and straight, tall through the crown of the head. Find lift in the upper back. Two more breaths. And slowly walk your hands back away from it. Nice. And give your arms a little shake. Or rotate to the right, to the left, maybe a couple arm swings. Awesome. Nice job. Okay, so go ahead and lie down on your back. Let's finish it out with a couple mat stretches and then a shavasana together. So go ahead and hug both knees to the chest, gently roll side to side, massaging the muscles along the spine, getting a little stretch in the low back. And then bring it right into a figure four across the right ankle over the left knee. And as you pull the left knee toward the face, press the right knee away from you. And even though we do figure four pretty regularly, once again, kind of carrying with that theme of paying attention to the mundane things, maybe this is your opportunity to go through a little body scan. So I like to start from the soles of my feet. And so what would it look like for you to relax what you can relax, release effort and tension from joints and muscles that don't need to be working. And so you can direct that energy to the areas that you need it. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your neck. All right, go ahead and switch sides. Cross the left ankle over the right. Nice deep breaths. All right, now go ahead. One more time, hug both knees to the chest. And pick the head, the shoulders up off the mat. Pick the tailbone up. Roll into the teeniest, tiniest little ball that you possibly can. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, release the arms, the legs, the head, the neck. And come into a final resting pose. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe take the time to take it through a couple full, long, slow rounds of breath. Pay particular attention to the exhales. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And then on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And then when you're ready, slowly press the earth away. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like to you. Cross your legs, lightly rest your hands on your knees and close your eyes for a moment. Notice the changes that you've brought about in your muscles, your joints, the sensations in your body. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful evening. Namaste.